Hi, welcome to Quad Pod. As you can see, I've got Carrie with me today, Carrie Gillam, who's the Chief Commercial Officer, I believe, of Exeter City AFC. Hi, how are
Yes,
you?
that's right. I'm good, thank you.
Good. And as you can see,
Good to see the new shirts on.
Still got the tags, but I'm going to take it off, right? And there's a reason for this, because there's another podcast coming up called The Top Boys, but I'm not... I'm not going to take my top off. I've got my Hell T-shirt on, and I'm going to say good morning to you with my Hell mug, which I received from Simon Lane. So thank you very much for that from the Hell guys. Right, Carrie, good morning. Let me introduce you a little bit first. If I get things wrong, right? If I get them wrong, please correct me. You joined us in March 2022?
Yeah, I certainly did.
Obviously a woman in football. You follow Denise Watts at Exeter as a senior woman in football, and Karen Brady, and I'm going to do a little shout out for Hannah Dingley at Forest Green Rovers, who's just become a football manager, right? So women in football, Quad Pod. And just so you know a little bit about us, we've now been going 7 months. We've interviewed 6 fans clubs. It's not all about Exeter City, but most of it is. We've got a community of fans across 20 odd countries now. I'm going to claim, because I've been doing a bit of analysis of football clubs, that Torquay United have got 4,700 subscribers. Quad Pod is catching them up. And we may beat Torquay United. Sorry, useless fact for you. So, Carrie, introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself personally, a little bit about your background, because I know a lot of Exeter fans are still like, who's Carrie? So,
I tend to kind of stay behind the scenes a little bit. So it's, but you know, it is good. But so I've moved over from South Wales. I'm Welsh by heritage, so born and bred in Bridgend. But I was previously working for Scarlets Rugby, so another really nice community club as well. So it's been quite nice to make that move into another community club. My parents moved down here from Wiltshire. My sisters moved down here from Wiltshire. So it seemed after COVID, the natural thing for me to do is to move a little bit closer to my family, having been so far away from them for so long. And when I was looking, I knew I wanted to stay in live sport because I absolutely love live sport, and saw this job come up and it was just absolutely perfect, and everybody's been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it was definitely a really sound move for me.
Good. And having an 18-year-old daughter that's also thinking the same way, well done you. So you're working for Fans Trust. What's it like? Bit different.
It is very unique. There's no doubt about it at all. The really nice thing is that because we're supporter owned, it gives a real focus on the supporters and the people that come to games and getting into that community, which you wouldn't ordinarily get with a privately owned kind of large company. I mean, I've worked in hospitality for about 26 years now, on and off. I've been lucky enough to work overseas. I spent 4 years in the Middle East. All of those type of things. So I've worked for some large companies and I've worked for some kind of smaller family-owned companies. And I think with the larger companies, you miss that element where, the supporters in this case, or the customer, is actually the focus of the business. They kind of become a number, so to speak. But in this kind of environment where, again, we're trust-owned, so we very much are embedded in the community, a lot of community work going on. Everybody that walks through the door is important, and that's a really nice place to be. And I haven't been here that long, but I'll see people out and they'll know exactly who I am. So there's that really nice sense of friendship and support as well. So a unique setup, there's no doubt about that at all. That comes with its own fair share of foibles at times, but it works. And I don't think anybody can deny that, given the club's still here 20 years later. So
yeah, and as you know, a lot of people that are I'm trying to think of the right words, embedded in terms of they really are relentless in terms of wanting it to do well. So, and it crosses sometimes that business and passion balance sometimes. I think you'll agree on that. So
yeah, it's a thin line to walk. I mean, kind of Elaine and Clive, who I know most of the supporters now, have been really, really helpful, kind of helping me adjust to that, going from a corporate environment where it's kind of money, getting people in, bums on seats, that type of thing, to actually finding that nice balance between making sure that we look after the people that are coming kind of every day and the reason that we're still here 20 years later. And kind of like obviously the commercial side of the business as well, and making sure that we're sustainable, which was the overall aim anyway. So they've been really, really invaluable for me, kind of learning that balance between the two.
So what's going on with commercial? Because I think obviously we've got the new shirts out, which I've got.
Yep.
And by the way, mine came super quick, and I did ask, and for reasons that will become clear in a little while, because I bought 4 shirts, but I'm only going to wear 1. All right. You've got, I believe you've got changes going on in one of the stands as we speak, and there could be some news. I'm not sure whether you can talk about that. But we've got also, and that's the lovely thing about fans, isn't it? We just know we find out what's going on. So, but you've got Hell.
Yeah, Hell Performance.
Yeah.
Simon's been amazing.
He has, yeah, and he's a proper city lad. All right. His house used to be where I used to walk past to get to the game. IT Optimizing. I don't know anything about them.
Well, they're kind of a lot bigger than you think they are. They kind of sit behind a number of other kind of areas within their technology business. Yeah. And again, you know, Michael and Matt have been working really closely with them to kind of develop an activation plan for them and to get them involved in the club. And they've been really, really receptive and really positive. So we've got a lot of things upcoming with them. So we've just launched them as one of our new partners. So yeah, it's really nice. We've got lots of new businesses coming on board who are really keen to work with the club. Optimizing IT has been one of them. Hell Performance, Foot Asylum on the back of the shirt. We've got kind of so many more, but we've also got those real kind of like the bread and butter of the club really that have been with us for quite a long time. So Track Suzuki, Thatcher's, Thrifty, St Austell, all of those businesses as well that have been with us along the road for the last 20 years are sticking with us, which is fantastic. So it's a really nice kind of growing portfolio.
We mustn't forget Carpet and those sort of businesses that have supported us that are now not supporting us. But yeah, hopefully it will come back. Yeah,
they were. I mean, Carpet have been fantastic to work with. You know, they did the We Win You Win campaign, and that went down really, really well. Again, big community effort from them. They've just changed their focus a little bit on where they're planning on going. So they're doing a lot more kind of internal community work. We will still be working with them on various different projects, but just not kind of as a front of shirt sponsor, but more as a community partner, working closely with our community trust and the club as we go. So, but a vast majority of other people have kind of stayed involved. Like I said, I mean, Carpet was a very big investment for them. So with their priorities changing, they've kind of changed their outlook and approach to things. But yeah, I don't think there's not really anyone else. I know Selco were a 1-year deal just to celebrate the launch of their store in Exeter. That's now been and gone. So they're looking at other ways that they can partner with the club as opposed to being stand sponsorship. So there will be an announcement coming on that one shortly, but it's a bit top secret at the moment. So
that's all right. People that know me know that I'm really into the non-match day elements and let's set a scene, right? Corporate hospitality 5-6 years ago was not very good in my opinion. So I have opinions. I know some people don't like my opinion, but I've done it. I've done it at other football clubs. And I think we need to do a lot more in that area. So I'm interested to see what we've got planned or what we're starting to plan for next year.
Oh, so well, for the coming season or the season after?
I'm talking about the season after. I'm talking about Christmas.
Sorry, there's some work going on outside.
I thought it was Simon Lane arriving from meeting.
Yeah, so I mean, our hospitality package is something that's consistently evolving. So when I first started, we spoke to all of our regular customers, took feedback from them and what was important to them with regards to the package. So we've, over that period of time, we've made changes. We've kind of rebranded with the introduction of John Lewis, obviously for the Trust Suite and all of those type of things. So it's kind of an ongoing project for us, really, to just keep evolving it into what people tell us they want. We knew that there were problems with it. Inevitably, there normally is. So we kind of listed those in order of priority, and we just decided to start tackling them one at a time. We've got new caterers on site, which has been really, really, really well received. I'm so sorry.
Simon Lane's in the building again. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, it's that time of year where we're getting ready to open.
We'll use it as a swear box. A hell of a noise. Yeah, we'll get herring all the time. Go on.
So we've got, so it kind of like we made the food a priority, because that was, a lot of people were kind of looking back at what food had been in the last few years and what they wanted moving forward. And obviously we've got new caterers, so they've worked with us really well to kind of adapt the menus. We've got really limited facilities here because it's such an old building, and we're trying to grow and adapt as much as we can. But the priority is making sure that logistically we deliver quality. It's not always going to be all singing, all dancing, because I'd rather deliver simple well than complicated badly. So there's been a big focus on making sure that the experience is there, the facilities are there, our customers are happy. If there are any issues on the day, or after we get some negative feedback afterwards, that's action straight away. And we just keep that dialogue up. So it's going to be something that's forever changing and evolving as we go. But we really want it to be an experience. It's not just you're buying a ticket with some food, you're buying an experience where you come in and it's special and it's something a little bit different. And, if you're celebrating a special anniversary or birthday or something like that, it's something that you'll go away remembering for all the right reasons.
Indeed. So, I mean, I'm a bit geeky. People know that I'm a bit geeky, right? Maybe a bit OCD. We've got 338 potential places to do stuff, I calculate. I may have got my figures slightly wrong, right? So how are they utilised on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Match day, we get it, and we understand where all that is.
So, I mean, our focus now is obviously Gary wants more money for his squad budget. We want to be able to give him more money. So we've got to start growing elements of the business that aren't your stereotypical football side of it all. So the event side has kind of ticked along on its own over the last 18 months to 2 years, really, since COVID. Some of the research that we've done has identified that people don't realise that we're open on non-match days, that we're available for hire, that we're central to the city. We've got car parking. There's a train station on our doorstep. So we're trying to pull together a campaign now, which is going to really build that awareness of what we are and where we are. We've been recruiting for a conference and events hospitality sales exec, and her name's is Cheyenne. She's going to be starting with us in August. So that's really exciting. So we're actually going to have someone completely focused on the non-match day experience and offerings, whether that be conference, product launches, meetings, live entertainment, all of those type of things. So they're specifically targeted with that. So it's going to be exciting because it's one part of the business that can grow exponentially.
I've got a list as long as my arm of stuff that I've collated from fans, which I'm not going to go through all of them online.
Send them over. We'll happily take them.
We'll talk about them another time. Yeah, but I am going to pick out a few of them, if I may. So, so we talked a little bit about non-match day. And for example, give an example. I live in a small town. There's a comedy club there's a pop-up comedy club on a Thursday that goes on a village hall. Best way to describe it. Gets 200 people every fourth Thursday in the month. The last Thursday in the month. It's brilliant. It's literally 200 meters across the road. It's fabulous, and it costs 12 quid. That's the sort of things that you're aiming for, I guess, moving forward in that area. Yeah,
it will be. We've got a number of partners that I know Matt, our commercial manager, has been dealing with to work out doing kind of your evenings with, nights with, those type of things. So we're going to have a few of those coming up soon. Cheyenne is going to be targeted on putting together a calendar of events, and she'll be working with Luke, who's our bars manager, to kind of deliver those as well. And the idea being is that we'd like to get to the point where we've got a calendar of events that everybody knows is coming up, and looking forward to it, and know to expect it and it to be there. So it'll become really well established then, and we'll help create that kind of environment where people will just be like, oh, December's coming, I'm going to go to that. Or the family day is a great example of that. Everybody knows it's the first Saturday in July. It's now become our established kit launch day as well. So you can build that excitement up that everybody knows about. And that's the plan to do throughout the year. So it's there's going to be a few events being launched in the next kind of few months, really, with a look to grow that and make that kind of a more revenue driven stream into the club to kind of help balance that squad budget that we're hoping to achieve.
Yeah, and as you know, we both know that Quad Pod put an event on a Friday, and unfortunately we got a lot of questions in terms of from fans, why is it not at the club? And as we both know, there was on a Friday, because of growing pains, I think that you don't operate because of the hospitality going on match days. And I think a lot of people were a little bit surprised that was the case. So we moved it because we needed it to be on a Friday for the three legends. Sorry, Kevin Miller, you're with us. You're employed by the business, by the club. But we had to do it for their diaries on a Friday. We've got one that we'd like to do. Perhaps we'll talk offline about that and see whether we can do it. Because the great thing about that was we managed to get a group of people that perhaps you wouldn't expect would work together to actually put on the event. And I know that the club has been a little bit nervous about putting on certain events, and certain events have been cancelled. But I think Quad Pod people and the fan base really can help you with that to actually get a few more events on. So some of the questions include, and I expect answers on all of them, right? So somebody, I said personally, can we do pre-order of shirts next time we have a launch? Somebody said, could we have an ice rink somewhere? Maybe in the car park before Christmas or a training ground. That same person said, could we do more stuff at the training ground when the team aren't there? It's got a facility.
Yeah, the difficulty we've got is obviously the academy they have a much longer season than the football squad do, so they're utilising those facilities up there for the age grades. And during the summer, it's going through a massive refurb, ready for the players coming back for the pre-season. So it's not always possible, but we'll certainly look at options where we can, without a doubt.
And like you say, we've got space, and I work with marquee companies and stuff, so I know that it's not too difficult. Match day experience. I got one junior member asked, could we in the kiosks actually have scarves for sale, and maybe we could pre-order. I don't expect you to have answers, so don't worry. Right, I'm not putting you on the spot. Could we have shirts, which we could potentially have a pre-order system that you collect after the match, or lots of stuff around that. I know that there's a bar in the Jungle Path that has mysteriously not been open for many matches. Is that planned to turn into a bar?
Yeah, so the Jungle Path bar is open every match at half time. So it's not open pre-match, but it's open at half time. Yep. Okay. Luke's always over there. It's always prepped and ready to go. But obviously, it's a really small area, and with the rules regarding alcohol, it kind of doesn't lend itself incredibly well to what we're using it for, with the fact that the toilets are there and we've got a food kiosk as well. So there's been a lot of work ongoing during the summer to kind of utilise that space a little bit more effectively, to make it a bit more accessible for people. So there have been changes ready for the start of the season to address those issues. But it is open every single game at halftime without fail. Okay,
interesting. I shall observe, because that's not been my experience back end of last season. I'll see. Okay, cool. So a couple of other questions I had sent to me. Have you been to many Exeter away games? Have you been to commercial operations around League One and other clubs?
Well, I've worked in, like I say, I've been in hospitality for seems like a lifetime, but over 20 years. So on and off in different kind of sporting environments. I've seen quite a considerable amount of different options. I am trying to get to more away games if I can. I've been up to Bristol, I've been to Forest Green, those type of clubs. But the plan is for me to go to a few more and kind of go out there. But when the invitations come out, we only get so many spaces, so it's not always possible for me to go to them, especially the big games. But it is something that I'm planning on doing a lot more next season, where I can, obviously, to kind of have a look at what other people are doing. There's definitely best practice out there. The really nice thing is that although we're competitive on the pitch, we've got a really nice close network within the EFL between all the commercial teams, which I know Matt spends a lot of time kind of communicating with them and going to conferences to learn best practice, to discuss ideas. We work really closely on the ticketing side with the other ticketing departments at the other teams to kind of make sure that our away fans are happy, their away fans are happy. So although very competitive on the pitch, and we can be a little bit competitive off the pitch as well, we've still got that really nice kind of connection to everybody where we can make sure that we're offering the best that we can.
And in terms of Exile fans, here's one for you, right? Because I think they feel that they miss out a little bit sometimes. A deal potentially, here's a thought for you. A deal with a local hotel close to Exeter City, right, for people to stay at, and potentially occasionally during the year having events for them on a Friday night prior to the game at the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we can look at. We've got some good relationships with local hotels. So, it's absolutely something that we can look at if the demand's there, with no problem at all.
Cool. I've got a question that came up from some of the analysis of spend per head. It said in the report that we've only made £18,000 on the fans report from non-match day income, but I'm guessing that's maybe a little bit misleading. Is that right?
I'd need to probably go into it in a little bit more detail, if I'm brutally honest. But the reality is that the non-match day event side hasn't been utilised as much as it could be, because we haven't had somebody in that position with the expertise to actually take control of that and really move forward with it. So it's been more reactive than it has been proactive, which is where this new role comes in. It's the one part of the business that we can grow exponentially, essentially. So, it's one of those ones where if we're looking for more revenue into the club, That's where a majority of it is going to come from, and that's the responsibility of Cheyenne when she joins us in August.
Good, brilliant. Retail, right? We've got the new shirts out. I've done a little bit of analysis with the research. I'm sorry, I should apologise to the team. The research team have done this and given it to me. So, price of shirt: Plymouth Argyle £50, Torquay £45, Oxford £50, Burton Albion £42.99, and Shrewsbury £35. But we're going to discount that because it's second season, I think. And Forest Green Rovers £45. So, as a fans club, I know we charge £50, but were people given the option to get their trust discount to make it closer to the lower price?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, the system isn't set up where you can get that discount online. So you do need to call the club or come into the shop itself. Right. But yeah, a vast majority of the people, I mean, I was in the shop, 7 behind the desk, albeit I don't know if I was a huge amount of help, on Sunday for the kit launch. And every single person was asked if they had a trust or a season ticket so that they could get their entitlement to the discount. And we also had QR codes there as well, so people could join the trust to benefit from that as well on the day if they wanted to. So it's definitely something that we push to try and make it more accessible for everybody. We are aware the costs have gone up. So, to try and make that as accessible and easy for everybody is the main priority.
Cool. And I know Julie Woodgate was asking about shirt supply, and there's a lady whose name escapes me, said that there wasn't any sizes in the junior sizes and under 5s, I believe. Is that because of the time for getting the sponsors deal in place and manufacturer, and where are we with that?
It's kind of each different supplier works through a different timeline, and it really depends on where they're shipping their kit from. The great thing about Adidas and working with Pro Direct is that they keep like a huge stock on the ground in the UK, which means we can draw down on it at any point. And we can get it in a lot easier and quicker than we could with Joma. So we don't have the same kind of logistical issues that we have. Because we pulled the launch of the kit forward so we could do it on the family day, Pro Direct were fantastic, and they turned around a huge amount of stock in a really short period of time to get that to us. But obviously they couldn't get as much in as we would have liked, and they couldn't get in every size. So that's all now trickling in over the next couple of weeks. We've had a couple of big deliveries in over the last couple of days. The training kit's now in as well. So that's all ticking along quite nicely. So the younger age grades will be in, no problem at all. Adidas don't do a kit that goes under 5. So I know Nick in the shop has been working quite closely with Pro Direct to look at ways that we can produce an ad hoc product that would be for kind of like babes in arms up to toddlers, that type of thing. So we can accommodate that age grade that Adidas itself isn't able to at this point. So, so over the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see a lot more stock coming in. We won't have the same restrictions as we did last year, where we ran out of the shorts and we couldn't get any more in, those type of things. We won't have that supply chain trouble with Adidas and Pro Direct. So you'll see a lot more stock coming in. It'll be a lot more readily available. The sizes will be all available. So it's we just draw down on it when we need it.
Perfect. And as somebody who runs a business in supply chain transformation and consultancy around e-commerce and supply chain, I fully understand those challenges. And it's good. And this is what's good about this process, because we're going to ask sometimes tricky questions, but we're going to do it in a partnership way so people understand. Because one of the comments I got was, we don't know who the commercial team are. Obviously, they've now met you, right? How many people have you got in your team, by the way? Just curious.
So just in my role, as I'm accountable for all of the revenue streams into the stadium. So I've got a number of different teams that work with me. They're an incredible group of people. I couldn't ask for a better team. They're absolute grafters, and they're all aiming for the same thing, which is the best thing for the club. So I've got in our commercial team, that's headed up by Matt Dawes, who's our commercial manager. And we've got Michael Carson, who's our commercial sales executive. And then obviously we've got Cheyenne joining the team as well. So they're going to be a really kind of formidable team to drive the commercial side of the business forward and the non-match day events. Cool. In the ticketing team, I've got Dave Rowett, who's the ticketing manager, who is an absolute guru when it comes to everything that is ticketing.
He does some lovely stuff for me, by the way. So thank you.
He's brilliant. He's so accommodating. Like the customer service is just brilliant. We've got Dave Jones, who works with him as well. Dave's been involved with the club for many, many years, and so is his wife. And again, we're recruiting for another member of staff within that team to help us kind of deal with the volume of traffic that department's now getting with the sellout games and everything like that, and all the queries and the away games and everything. So to make sure that we're on top of emails, telephone calls, ticket requests, all of those. So we're growing that team. In the shop retail, we've got Nick Wild, and he is the retail manager. So he obviously came over to us from Exeter Chiefs, so he's got a wealth of experience. He's now kind of getting to the point now where the shop is becoming his vision of where he wants it to be. So, you know, that's the products that are coming in, of what he thinks is going to be best for the shop and best for the supporters. I know he's in constant contact with the supporters as well. So if anybody's got any suggestions, by all means, just pass them on. If we can do it, we will. If we can't, we'll tell you why we can't. You know, it's a really honest and open dialogue.
He used to work in Cody in Exeter, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah. So wealth of experience.
Yeah, a lot of City fans were pleased that he came. By the way, that question was asked on Exeter by great name, Grecian in Hell.
Nice. Yeah. So with Nick, we've got Alex Pope, who is also a coach as well. So he does his own kind of academy style coaching outside of Exeter City, and he looks after kind of all of our reception duties and is a massive support for ticketing and retail. And we've just recently recruited Charlotte as a retail assistant. So she is kind of learning the ropes off Nick. So to give us that kind of familiarity within that team and just make it a lot more accessible to people.
Yeah.
And then I've got Luke, who looks after all the bars and the kiosks. And
Luke.
Yeah, he absolutely is. But he's a lifelong fan of Exeter City. So he's quite a good sounding board for me, in that if there's something that I'm thinking, I can go to him and he'll generally give me a very honest opinion on what I'm thinking, which is great. But, you know, he's, again, our fountain of knowledge when it comes to everything that is liquor related and events. And he's a super grafter as well. He's here all the time, looks after all of our customers, fantastic feedback off them. And then we've got our media team as well. So that's led up by Scott Palfrey, who is our media and comms manager. And he has Zandy, who works for him, who does all the video content that we see going out online and everything like that. Incredibly talented at the video content. And Craig Bratt, who looks after all of our social media and the programs and everything. So, and he goes to every away game as well to represent the media team. So he's pretty much non-stop once the season starts. So it's I think that's everyone. But Dawn as well.
Say again, sorry.
We've got Dawn as well, who looks after all the kiosks on a match day. So she, her and Russ are literally kind of running around kind of days leading up to the game, kind of setting up the kiosks and getting them all ready and putting in stock and all of that type of thing. So I'm really, really fortunate in that I've got a great team around me that will literally just crack on, and I know the job gets done. So yeah, very, very fortunate.
And so on the non-match day stuff, this is brilliant, by the way. Thank you very much. A lot of fans are hoping for a better experience, and I know we've had growing pains to the size of the crowds. 100% get that, right? I think people want to see Mother's Days, Father's Days, weddings, all that. Let's get them going, right? Let's get the and I've got the shirt up again, right? The sea of red and white. Haven't we sold 949 on the day. We must have sold over 1,000 by now, have we?
Oh, I think we're encroaching 1,200, 1,300. Like we're getting deliveries in all week, and as soon as they're coming in, they're going straight back out again. Okay. So
can I suggest we start a campaign? Sea of red and white. Absolutely get every person we can, man, woman, child, hopefully the under fives at certain time in the future, wearing the shirt. It's got the trust on the back. Let's do this. Yeah.
No, so, paint the park red. Definitely, it's what we need.
Exactly, and that's where we can help, right? Because we will try and help you do that, right? And also to your point related to skill sets around the park, do not forget there's 3,500 people in the trust, and you'll be amazed at the skill sets that you probably don't even know are there to help you. You know, for example, retail. You know, I've got a brother, for example, who's a retail specialist in a very senior role. You know, they're out there. So abuse the yes. So right, we've been 37 minutes, and you've answered questions as best you can. Big smile on your face, and I really appreciate that for coming on. I'm gonna lower the mood a little bit and just say that, and it's partly because of my family background. I know that the Millwall chairman passed this week, a guy called John Burleson. I just want to say rest in peace to him. We always do a few charity things at the end, Carrie. You know, and I know Millwall thought very highly as a fan base of him, so thoughts are up there. Hoping you'll come on again in 6 months' time, or in 3 months' time, if you like. Let's see what you've got going on. Happy to support and launch. Is that okay for you? Come back on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing as well is I attend all the trust forums. So I'm based in the office. I'm happy to talk to anybody if they've got any ideas. I don't have all the solutions to everything, so it is a group effort. You know, together we'll get there. We recognise that we had record attendances last year, so it has taken its toll on the infrastructure of the stadium. It's not designed for that many people when it comes to facilities, but we are working on improvements that are going to hopefully address a lot of the concerns that everybody had last season. But yeah, it's a group effort, and I think that's the benefit of us being a support around, is that, you know, if anybody has any ideas, if there's something you want to see in the shop, if there's any ideas when it comes to match day hospitality, you know, by all means, just either pop in and see someone or just drop it on an email over to us. If we can do it, fantastic. If we can't, we'll absolutely tell you why, and explain why it's not possible. So there's that open dialogue between everybody. But yeah, no, the support we've had from supporters, I mean, me in particular, has been absolutely fantastic. It's been so welcoming. It's hard work, without a doubt. You know, we are a very old club with a very old history, and, you know, things don't always work as they should, but, you know, everybody's in it together, so it doesn't get any better than that, really.
I know, and fans will always be relentless at this football club, and also they are very entwined, and we never ever want to go back to 2001 to 2003 period. And for those that can't see the progress that we're making, although we've got growing pains all the way along, you know, just have a look back, because I think there's a generation of Exeter fans at least that are living through a great period and have never really appreciated how bad it was. So, for example, commercial, we used to have, and by the way, he's one of my heroes, we used to have former players becoming commercial managers, like Tony Carrie. We had commercial managers that thought it was good to put a turkey on the pitch and shoot it as match day entertainment. Against Plymouth Argyle. Actually, some of the fans thought that was quite funny, but as you'll appreciate, maybe not what.
Bit controversial.
Bit controversial, yeah. So, and I know that you've been here, what, a year and
Nearly
months.
18 months now, yeah.
So I apologise, yes, almost. You know, and one of the people before didn't last that long. And the nicest way, we do need continuity, and you know, we need it to develop. So thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. And I was quite surprised when the club actually agreed to do it. So it was great. Yeah. Have a good day. Happy Friday.
Yeah, definitely. Weekend coming.
It looks like it's bright sunshine behind you on the pitch, because I can't see a thing. It
is. It's blue skies. The pitch is coming along really, really well. The ground staff have done a phenomenal job on it. So it's full steam ahead now to the 29th for the Coventry game. For our first home friendly in a while, it would appear. And then obviously the first game the season starting in August.
I've got some ideas on the friendlies, and it was raised at a trust meeting, which we'll talk about off air. So but I've got some ideas for you on that. So
no problem. Well, the Coventry game's really special because it's the start of the 20-year anniversary celebrations. And we will be launching our third kit at that game as well. So it'll be the first viewing of the third kit. The squad will be playing in it. So there's lots of activities ongoing around there, and it will be available for sale on the day as well.
Cool. And it's 21 and a half years of the trust. So I think maybe more. So have a great day, and thanks for coming on.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Thank you.